Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Dizzle. I got my addictions and my problems. Bitch, you have an easy life. Ah! Oh hi, welcome everybody to the Daily Dizzle Weekend Update for February 26th and 27th, 2011. It's Tommy Dizzlemits here as always. Another slow weekend at the box office, as it's the 15th down week in a row compared to last year's business, which is an awesome way to start the year. Hall Pass opened on the Friday at number 1. However, it was under $5 million, which led to the weekend as a whole being shaken up quite a bit. Looking at the top 10, number 1, Romeo and Juliet ended up jumping ahead, despite being at number 4 for the day on Friday. Took the top spot with over $14 million. Hall Pass still made a respectable showing at number 2, ended up with $13.5 million. That is right in the range of Heartbreak Kid and Drill Bit Taylor, which everyone was comparing it to, being the similar subject matter, same directors, or just same time period release. So in this case, the predictions actually paid off. Meanwhile, last weekend's number 1 movie, Unknown, dropped to number 3 with $12.5 million. Just go with it. Adam Sandler's latest is still performing at maybe $100 million levels. It is currently sitting at just under $80 million altogether, with another $11 million added this weekend, so should have no problem making up the extra $20 million down the line. And number 5 was I Am Number 4, with another $11 million. However, it's performing right around the same levels of Jumper, which was another failed franchise attempt, so you can expect number 4 to be the only one. Meanwhile, the rest of the top 10, Justin Bieber had his best hold yet, which is probably because of the fact that his fans are dumb and ran back out to watch the same movie again, just with like 5 extra minutes of footage in there. If you look at any of the Oscar movies, The King's Speech was the only one to place in the top 10. It expanded a little bit and had an uptick. However, if you even look at the other movies that have been out for a while, like The Fighter and Black Swan, despite the fact that they were losing theaters because it is Oscar weekend, they both also enjoyed upticks, so we will have a little bit of coverage of the Oscars once we're done with the box office. But the rest of the top 10, Big Mama's opened low and it dropped quick. However, it will be making back its budget, so you might have to kind of prepare for a 4th Big Mama's, even if it's like a direct-to-video or something. Don't put it past the studio at this point. Number 9, Drive Angry. Whoever decided to make that movie must be a little bit angry with themselves, as it only made $5 million for the whole weekend, even with the 3D accountability. So, no one saw Drive Angry. I mean, if you look at, even for Nicolas Cage's bad movies, this movie did half the attendance of his worst performing movies so far in its opening weekend. And the top 10 is rounded out by The Roommate, that crappy PG-13 horror movie remake. When it comes to PG-13 horror, the less said, the better. So that does it with the box office rundown. And now to finish out today's weekend update, we've got our preview for the Oscars. Of course, everyone's trying to predict every single category. That's not the style that we go in. It should very well be an entertaining show this year, especially considering you have a pot dealer hosting, which is probably my favorite part about it. But as usual, we like to do the 5 points when it comes to news or notes, so that's what we're going to do today. Started off The Social Network at number 1. Everyone thinks it's going to win a lot of categories. You know, it was the early front runner of the Oscars when it was pretty much the only confirmed nomination after it was released, and people started realizing, oh wow, a movie about Facebook is actually a decent movie. However, much like any time Christopher Nolan seems to get nominated for things, there always seems to be some screw jobs going on. I will not put it past the Academy to kind of knock off The Social Network from its peg. There are a few categories that it does stand a chance in, but we'll get to that later on in the list. However, if you're looking at it to be the front runner and the big winner of the night, I don't count on that. You can expect it to take home a couple awards here and there, but it really, that brings us to the number 2 point. The King's Speech. Doesn't matter if it's a good period piece or if it's a crappy movie. If your movie is set in the olden days and you have costumes and the sets, and the Academy pretty much gets a hard-on for you right there. Like, oh my god, oh, look at the costume, oh my god, oh my god, I'm so convinced that I'm back in time. So, yeah, expect the King's Speech to pretty much rape every single category that it is involved in. Moving on from that, Inception, much like The Social Network, how it's pegged to win more than it really will. Everyone knows with Christopher Nolan that they nominate his movies doesn't mean that he ever gets the full recognition, so that's why they threw him a bone with Best Picture, but not giving him Best Director. Really, even if Inception doesn't win, it doesn't change the fact that it was the highest grossing original idea produced by Hollywood last year. And on top of that, you can guarantee that they'll do what they did for, like, Avatar and Batman. You know, they'll give them some of the technical Oscars to be like, well, you still won an Oscar even though it's the Oscars that don't matter. Oh. Number 4, on the music side of things, Hans Zimmer is a very famous composer that you guys would recognize his music from Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Inception. He gets nominated every single year, always seems to get screwed. This year, everyone feels like it might be his year. However, with The Social Network, Trent Reznor's involvement on that, he won a Golden Globe earlier this year. And really, if you just look at his career-long evolution from junkie to multi-platinum artist to music composer in movies, it would just be the ultimate clean sweep if he ends up winning. As much as I like Hans Zimmer, I'm hoping that The Social Network at least has that guaranteed, because whether you liked the movie or hated it, the music was awesome. Just took the mood and took it in all the different directions that you wouldn't expect. And to round it out, it is the year of the dark horses, I feel. I mean, years ago you had Abigail Breslin being nominated, and you've had every so often you get someone who seems like they should be the oddball out. This year, even though there are some oddballs, it's because they've shown that they are the best at what they do acting-wise. Look at the little girl from True Grit. No one ever heard of her before this, and now she's going to be thrust right into the limelight. And if you look at the best actor side of things, James Franco, anyone who can go from being a stoner to being in such a heart-wrenching film that he was in this year with 127 hours, that's got to get credit. However, I am pulling for Jesse Eisenberg, only for the fact that, look at his last 3 big movies, Adventureland, Zombieland, and The Social Network. Played the socially awkward kid in all 3. However, he did not Michael Cera it by playing the same character in all 3. He did different things for all 3 awkwardness that helped fulfill the character and their story arc while showing that he wasn't just a one-trick pony. So I'm pulling for him this year, even though for him to try and take out the dude, I really think that Jeff Bridges stands a better shot at taking home a second Oscar for the 2nd year in a row. But still, we'll have to wait and see for sure once the Oscars have come and gone. We'll have the Oscar rundown tomorrow on the Daily Dizzle for Monday's edition. So we do look forward to you guys coming back. And don't forget, if you haven't voted for the Vice President of Pop Chips contest, go ahead and click the link and do that. So I do thank you guys for joining us here as always. We are here Monday through Friday, and again next weekend for the weekend updates. So if you don't have plans for this week already, make sure you clear your schedule for us. So for the Daily Dizzle and the Weekend Update, I'm Tommy Dizzlemits. We'll see you tomorrow.